Salty Sally got a Salty Kiss paint job back in June. That was a mouthful. But she didn't sell. And sometimes when you do things, you do them and you're like, you know, it's not my favorite thing. And the way the transfer went on, I pieced a lot of the Lavender Dechamps transfer together with some scraps, and I never really loved it. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a sand block. It's probably like a 200 grit, maybe a little lower, and I'm just giving it a really good scuff to try to even out some of the texture, because I'm going to use the DIY paint in Aviary to cover it up and give her a new look. Whenever I have a piece like this, and I remember, I try to turn it upside down first. There's a lot of little nooks and crannies, and this way I can get most of it upside down, and then when I turn it over, I'm just touching up parts of the legs. Aviary is a DIY clay paint, so it will need to be sealed. But the reason that I love it for this is A, my customer really loved the color, and B, it has a lot of texture with the clay. So I knew that after a couple of coats, I could cover up that transfer and it would be okay. I did think I may need to shellac it to cover up the transfer if I had any kind of a shadowing, but everything turned out good, as you will see. Sorry about the angle. We are missing some of the best part, but I'm laying the paint on pretty thick, but trying to do it even as well. And then we'll go back and add another coat, or maybe two, I think. One of my best customers, Jennifer, had been looking for a small table, and she looked at Salty Sally a couple of times and was like, the color's just not right. So after Lavender Fest, when it didn't sell, I had a feeling that the best thing to do was paint it, make a happy customer and a happy little table, and send it home with her in Aviary. So don't think of repainting as a failure. Think of it as just another step in the process of getting where you're going. I don't normally heat gun when I do projects like this. I let it dry naturally, and especially with the transfer under there, I was trying to be really careful so that I did not lift the transfer at all. But I needed to get this done in like an hour so I could go home and have it ready for her the next day. And this way you can kind of see too, like if there was any sort of a shadowing from the transfer that's coming through the top. I'm doing this in 3 times speed, but when you are using Big Top, you need to have a feather light touch, or you can easily reactivate the paint and pull it back off. The top is it's all looking pretty good, but I do think I want one more coat of paint there just to even it out a little bit more, and then we'll seal it up again. It may be weird that I'm sealing and then painting again, but this is the way that I was going to make sure that it all looked really good when it was sealed. Was the only way to do it, and then I decided, nope, I needed more paint. My shop's on Main Street, so it can be really loud working here sometimes. I don't always paint the bottoms, and I never paint the backs of things unless it's finished. So I did this just because it's small and it was easy to see when it was flipped over, so we just went for it. I'm rushing the drying process with the heat gun so I can make sure that when I come in the morning, it looks good for her. And now we're going to seal the top. I wanted to make sure that there was no paint on my brush so that I didn't have any sort of clay paint drag, if you will. Sometimes I use the same brush that's got paint on it, and sometimes I like that look. And today I just wanted to make sure that I got a nice even top for Jennifer, and that when I came in the morning, I liked what I saw. So there you go, just paint it. Paint over an old piece, paint over your previous paint job, paint over a transfer. You can do this and get it how you want it. Also try out our one-step paints, which are called Cottage Colors by Jamie Ray and DIY. They make this even easier. Here's Salty Sally before with Salty Kiss, and here is Sally in an Aviary dress. She looks a little bit farmhouse, a little bit classic, and a lot happy because she went home that day with Jennifer. Thanks for watching this series. I will see you again next time. Next up is Barn Quilt One Step. See you then.